What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Buildit video. Today we're going to be doing a contest mayor's walkthrough for one of the people in my training courses list here. She had a little bit of an interesting week. I think she may have been in reverse rotation at the beginning of the week, and I haven't had a chance to look through the full list. I made it about 3/4 of the way, and I decided that I was going to do a video on it to try to explain kind of where things went wrong and hopefully direct her so that next time it doesn't, happen like this. So let's get started. And as many of you guys know, the very first thing that you would do is a task assessment. Actually, no, the very first thing you're going to do is hit like and subscribe. That's number one. Okay, so very first thing we do is set the scene, and that would be that she is a level 24 player. She's in Mega. She has 60 total tasks, and let's see here. That pretty much sums it up. So let's go ahead and do her task assessment. Now, as you can conclude already by looking at the starting list, at the beginning of the week, they always put the very highest valued tasks up at the top, right? So we can already conclude that we know we're not going to have anything greater than 1800 in our list. Does this mean that we would mark the 1800's main tasks because they're the highest in our starting list? No. Okay, so she had asked me that at the beginning of the week, and I just wanted to answer that in case anybody else also had that question. No. A main task is a main task, whether it's, it has to meet the criteria for it being a main task, whether it be at the starting list or whether it be, midweek. It doesn't change the requirements for it to be considered main. That being said, what would you do if you have a starting list where you have no main tasks? Where do you start? Well, you just start like you would if you were at the beginning of the week. You just go with your rotatable options. Move to your next best rotatable option, just like you would if you ran out at 47 tasks remaining. It's no different, okay? So just for a heads up, if you ever start your week off and you already have some tasks of low value, you're probably going to start in reverse rotation. Now, reverse rotation doesn't happen very often, and when it happens, because it doesn't happen very often, players usually focus on the wrong things out of kind of panicking. They're so concerned about their score that they don't pay close enough attention to their choices, and then they make wrong choices, or they make choices that don't make any sense because they're operating where none of their logic that they know how to utilize to get the right answer is making sense. So let me put it to you like this. If you add 1 + 1 and you know that's 2, and then you were taught how to add, right? And so you get 1 + 1, is 2. You get 1 + 2, is 3, right? You know this stuff. But if I come at you with an equation that doesn't make any sense, like 1/2 squiggly line dash whatever, and you're just looking at it going, what the hell is this? You can't make sense of it. You weren't taught how to make sense of it. So when you have these situations with reverse rotation, people get so focused on the particular way that they were taught how to do things, so they go into that setting with that mindset, and it usually turns out for disaster. So I'm going to do my best to explain how to operate in this situation. So at the beginning of the list, we're going to do our task assessment. We're going to do this one super quick. Basically, she has rotatable corn that is a premium option for 1800. It is one of her highest tasks, so it is her obvious choice because it brings in the best opportunity in terms of cargo or corn. So it's going to be one of those two, right? They're both the same value. That does not mean they bring the same opportunities to the table, right? So just because something has the same value doesn't mean it's going to be as beneficial for you if you choose it. That being said, corn would be the first choice, but before we do that, we need to look at the rest of our list. We have coins in the streaks task, which is good. So we don't want to touch this yet, because what Missy's taught you guys is that we don't do the streaks until about 20 tasks in. And that way the game doesn't, it doesn't decide to give you a bunch of garbage, because it will, okay? It absolutely will. If you do your streaks too early, your score goes up too fast, the game tries to level you out, and it gives you a bunch of garbage. You have uptime and downtime in the contest of mayors, and a lot of people forget that. So they're so used to things working, you know, the way that they normally do, that they don't understand it when it gets reversed on them. But basically at the beginning of every week, you start with really decent tasks, and then the game slowly drops your score down, and then after it goes down a little bit, it goes back up a little bit, and then down, and it just kind of goes up, down, up, down. But when you start the week off with a major nosedive, people panic, and they start operating and doing, you know, picking choices that they wouldn't normally pick to try to make things happen. And yeah, that's what you're going to see here. So basically, the non-premium option for the repair is also a rotatable option. Coins are rotatable, especially at gold keys are rotatable, especially at 1600. We have ore deliveries at 1500. That is a premium option and limited, so we need to keep that in mind. Let's see, monster is no touch. Wood is rotatable. Glass is rotatable. Pretty much at night for that value and that amount. You would definitely prep that at night unless something else presented itself. Then you have epic, which at 1200 is a decent amount to rotate it in for, but you just want to be careful that if you open up that doorway, it's basically because you didn't have very many other rotatable options. And then we have the War Booster for 1000. Now this one usually results in a high kickback, so it's usually good to do that either before the first war ends or by the time you get to probably, you know, anything that is 1200 or higher, you usually would do before you know, pick a low rotatable. It just kind of depends on the situation. Okay. You've got 2 residentials there, 2 out of 7 of her residentials, and that basically means she has 5 more to go before she can even, well, that's usually where you want to be before you start streaks. It doesn't mean that you can't start them without them all being there, it just means that you're at higher risk. Okay, so corn would be her first choice. Now, let's see. After she does the corn, she gets minerals for 1470. So where would she go from here? She would go down to cargo, right? Because it's the highest best option. It does bring in decent opportunity, and it's 300 points higher than the word deliveries. Okay. She does the cargo for 1800, and she gets Tokyo deliveries for 3000, which she does. Then she's got she got a Latin American home for 1200, which is good because it came in with a low value. So now she has 3 out of 7 of her upgrades. Okay, so at this point she selects the war deliveries. Now let me explain why she selected the war deliveries over anything else. So starting up at the top, she has minerals for 1470. Okay, now that's only 30 points difference from the war deliveries, but war deliveries is 30 points higher, brings better opportunity, and it is a premium option, so it automatically is above the minerals in terms of ranking. Now we have repair VU and keys. Now, if you had to pick between repair VU and keys, you would pick keys over the repair VU because it brings in better opportunity. So we would automatically cross the VU off. So it comes down to the gold keys for 16 and the ward deliveries for 15. Is there anything that puts the ward deliveries above the gold keys? Well, it is a limited option. You know, you can only do it during war. However, war did just start, so she does have plenty of time. If she wanted to bank in on those extra 100 points for the keys, she could, and it wouldn't be necessarily a wrong choice. Or she could go with the word deliveries because it opens up better opportunity. It's only 100 points, and it is a limited option. So that is why she chose it, and I'm not going to mark her wrong for that. I probably would have done the gold keys for the extra 100 points, get it out of the way, because I probably would have done it on the next one anyways. But either way, it's not right or wrong. I wouldn't mark it wrong for doing that. Okay, so moving on. Let's see here. She's got that. Now, if it was like later and, you know, word deliveries were, you know, it wasn't the first 5 minutes of the contest, then I would say, you know, maybe it's time to do this. Or if it was later in rotation, because you have less opportunities arise where you're probably going to do that. The reason I said it didn't matter as much is because we know that she's probably going to have to rotate that relatively soon anyways. And she does, like almost immediately after. So you see what I'm saying? Okay, now we are at 5 total tasks done, and she's only about 300 points down on her overall average. So at this point, she gets paint for 1680. She's got cement for 1440, and she's got minerals for 1440. Well, the paint, it's a pretty no-brainer, right? Because the paint is, you know, 200 and something higher than the cement. So obviously paint would be the next choice. And why she goes with wood, I don't understand. I couldn't tell you this. This to me makes absolutely no sense. Even if her factories were open or whatever, it still doesn't make sense. Because she could have cleared out her building supply store and done the paint with a gold token. So, yeah, I don't understand that. Anyways, that would be mistake number 1, would be when she did the, oops, what did I do here? When she did the wood over the paint. Now she gets an upgrade war card for 3,000, which she does, and then she gets, in placement of that, she gets 800 on the donuts, which paint would obviously be her next choice, right? Okay, so she does the paint. Then she gets a 3,000 launch VU, which I'm assuming she does. Okay. She gets a 1,200 Old Town. Now that means that 2 of the high premium upgrades are now in her list because she had that Latin one from earlier. Now she's got Old Town Home. She's got the design one, and she's got the one there at the bottom. So that's 4 out of 7. So not doing too bad there. That being said, let's go ahead and zoom in and look at her list. She's got the repair for 1,600, and she's got the cement for 1,440, and minerals for 1,470. So it basically comes down to looking at her next highest option would be the VU repair. However, you know, if we were to do the contest to mayor's math and go through, we would kind of go through everything and say, okay, opportunity, you know, value difference, and weigh out your options. Right now, I would say that the repair would be, you know, a good thing to go ahead and rotate out, you know, with its value being at 1,600, and banking on those extra couple hundred points, I would say repair would be the correct choice. Okay, so she does repair, and she's got the 1,500 on the VU, or, sorry, 3,000 on the VU, which I'm assuming she does. Okay. And she gets an 800 Paris. Now, back here, we go with the next, pick out the top two in value, start there. And we've got 1470 on minerals and 1440 on cement. Now, both of these should have been getting prepped during this whole time, right? So, you don't want to just start a task, the moment you decide to do it. Try to shave off as much time as you can without hopefully blocking too many things from happening. Like, you don't have to put up all the cement, just put up one at a time until they're all done. Okay, so right now it basically would come down to what she has prepped. If she prepped cement over minerals, then she would go with cement. And if she prepped minerals over cement, then she would go with minerals. If neither one is prepped, then which one do you think is correct? Minerals, because they're higher, right? Okay, so either one of those would have been correct. And she goes with cement. Okay. Now she gets sugar for 1480. Now, at this value, we're not even going to mess with this, okay? Because here's the thing with this stupid assignment. First off, if it comes back for a higher value, then you're kind of forced to do it. And it can take off a lot of downtime for a level 24 player. At this value, and at the algorithm rate that it has a high chance of coming back around. We don't even want to open up the possibilities of all that nonsense, especially for a task that could potentially cause us 8 hours of downtime for like 2,000 points to 2,200 points is usually the highest we see those. So we would automatically, shift down to our next option, and the next option would be the minerals for 1470. Okay. And she does the minerals for 1470, and she gets metal for 1680, which would be the next correct choice. Then she gets keys for 2000, which is correct. And then she gets another upgrade for 2000. Now at this point, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 7 of the upgrades. Now, at this point, we need to do a task assessment to figure out what is our next best choice. So let's go through them. Well, let's see. We're at 45 tasks total, so it's way too early to start streaks. Moving on, the next one is a no-touch upgrade. We have a 1400 on sugar, which we're not going to do. That's marked no-touch. We have a rotatable 800 Paris and a rotatable 800 on the donuts. We have a rotatable 1360 on the glass. We have epics for 1200, and we have war booster for 1000. Okay. So I don't know what's going on in this person's game. I don't know if they're still in, I'm assuming they're still in war. Okay, because I know how quick this particular person moves on her assignments. That being said, given the fact that they are still in war, and I seriously doubt that the glass has been prepped yet because she just did minerals, so I know that I can pretty much guess that she hasn't been able to do 5 hours worth of glass just yet. So it comes down to epic for 1200 or the war booster for 1000. Now, at this point in the contest of Mayor's math is you would say, okay, which one is better in value? Earn epic is better in value. The value difference is 200. The value possibility is 2400, whereas the value possibility on the war booster is only 1000. However, the war booster usually does a high kickback and is a limited assignment. But the epic project, once you open up that doorway, you kind of open it up to be a reoccurring thing. And then it either stays away usually for the rest of the contest, or it just comes back and sits in your list for a couple more sessions. This would be totally up to her and what's going on with her game. If she can do the epic and there's still plenty of time left for war, I would say go ahead and do the epic. If she doesn't want to open up that doorway just yet and war is going to be ending soon, then I would say go ahead and go with the war booster. So either one of those choices would have been correct. Okay, so she does the war booster and she gets chemicals for 1560. Now at this value, I would not do the chemicals at all. That would be a big no-no. Because again, same thing with the sugar. If it comes back, and it, let's face it, it usually does, the chemicals usually do, they're either going to be worth the same amount, and then we're going to be right back in the same situation that we're in right now, except for probably with less points. Or it's going to come in worth higher, which means that I'm going to have to do it because it came in worth higher, and usually when they come in worth higher, they're worth close to 2,000 points. So I wouldn't want to risk the sugar or the chems. I would go with the donuts because they bring better opportunity than the Paris delivery, right? So far we've got 2 800 valued tasks there, and we've got that 1200 epic at the bottom. So the 1200 epic is actually what I would go with. I would do the epic, and I would be prepping the donuts. Okay, so she goes with donuts. Yeah, she should have done the epic. I don't really know why she didn't. Maybe she didn't want to open up that doorway, I guess. I don't know. So she gets the Tokyo delivery for 3,000. Then she gets her other upgrade. Okay, so now she's got 6 out of 7 upgrades, which is good. And we're running out of options here. Okay, because she's got a lot of upgrades. She's got the monster task, and then she's got the sugar and the chems. So we're running out of options. Now, it comes down to Epic or Paris. I would go with Epic. Like I would have went with Epic last time. She went with Epic. Okay, she got the 2,000 on the keys, which she does. She gets a 1,000 London, which she does, I'm assuming. Okay, 1,600 on the VU. Then she gets her 7th upgrade. So at this point, she's got all 7 upgrades in the list, all worth a low value pretty much, which is excellent for when she does get the streak assignments. But she has had a lot of low value tasks. Looking at her average though, you know, with 40 tasks, or with 20 tasks done, she would have been at 40,000 points. So she is a little bit down on her average, but not enough to be super concerned. Okay, so now let's do another assessment, basically crossing off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so basically it comes down to glass, which I don't know what time it is for her at this point, but I would assume that by now bedtime would have rolled around, she would have been able to get that glass done maybe. Paris, let's see. So basically Paris and glass is what she's got going on now. So she does Paris, and she gets the Club Wars, which obviously she would do. And then she gets Feed for 1360. I think at this point I had told her to prep glass because it was 5 hours shorter. I told her to get these done. She had come to me for help. I said, you need to get those 2 long factory assignments out of the way and get the glass done. She had already prepped the 2nd round of chemicals. This was her first mistake. She should not have went for the chemicals because of the reoccurring rate of the chemicals. They will probably come back again, and probably at the most inopportune time, is my guess. So I would have just taken this time and just said, screw it, I'm going to do the feed and the glass and get this downtime done. Now that's what I had told her when we got to, this point. But she had already done the 2nd round of chemicals, and I said, go ahead, since you already did the 2nd round, you might as well. And I did warn her, though, that it was risky. It's still risky because of the fact that it can come back, and that I would not have done that. Okay, so at this point, she's got smoothies for 1,000. Um, Now, at this point, again, I don't know how far away the glass is or the feed is, but, she can do the smoothies, but she really does need to get those glass and the feed done and quit dinking around with all this other stuff. Okay, so she does that. She gets ladders for 1,300, which she does. She gets an epic for 1,200, which she does. And then she gets another war assignment, which is a lunch legendary for 1,200, which she does. So right now, as you can see, she's just nickel and diming her points away. At this point, she should have just taken the downtime, done the glass and the feed, got the stuff out of the way, right? Because if you look at what is available to her to get high, premiums, she's got basically productions, flights, and war assignments is what she's got available to her. Right now she's got a lot of upgrades just parked in her list, so she's got a good chance of a wide variety of assignments to come in, but she really needs to open up those other doorways. It's like people forget certain things that I say certain weeks, and then they remember other things other weeks. Working that same doorway for that long, it's only going to do so much. So now at this point, she is almost 30 tasks in, let's say 30 tasks in, and she should be at right around 60,000 points if she was to be getting a 2K average. So her average has dropped a little bit. It's dropped significantly, actually. However, again, knowing that she started with the downtime this week, it's not that surprising. I wouldn't stress too much because she still has all those streaks, and she still has her uptime, which she hasn't taken into consideration just yet. She should get an uptime unless it just kind of levels her out evenly. But either way, it should end well if she makes the right choices, that is. So she does the glass, which now is the correct choice. And she gets textiles for 1,300. Now, at this point, okay, she probably woke up in the morning and she probably woke up in the morning and said, okay, I've got the glass done, and now she didn't want to take another 6 hours or whatever worth of downtime to do the feed. But she should have taken the 3 hours worth of downtime and done the textiles. This was her next move, was the textiles. Any move other than the textiles right here would have been bad. And honestly, I would expect somebody in my training course to see the disaster that this could cause. But let me just explain why it would be disastrous. If we went with the coins, what would that do? That would start our streaks way too early and potentially start us on that 24-hour timer to get everything done, right? Which wouldn't be good because we have 2 items in here that require a significant amount of downtime. So not a smart move there. And the fact that we're still 10 tasks early on the streaks. So the streaks are out. Now we've got Paris for 800, which is significantly less. It is one of our rotatable options, but we really need the points right now. We can't really afford to risk 520 points to do the Paris over the text that we're probably going to have to do anyways. Then we have feed. Okay, feed takes twice as long as textiles and can be done at night. So why would we take double the downtime over the textiles to do feed? We wouldn't, right? Then we've got sugar. Now, sugar's out already. We already decided that because of the risk. There's nothing else in the list, so anything other than textiles would have been out of pure impatience. That's all that would have been, is I don't want to wait. I want to do something, and that type of attitude will bite you in the ass sometimes. I really admire when I get a student that wants to do things quick, get shit done, do good. But sometimes you got to pump the brakes a little bit. You know what I'm saying? In order to do good, you have to slow down. Now, you either get students that move as slow as molasses and you're constantly like, come on, dude, come on, you can't play like this, go, 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 go. Or you got students that are like, shoom, like Roadrunner, and it's like, hey, dude, slow down. If you would have, there's a reason why you're supposed to go as quick as Roadrunner, okay? The reason for that is so that when this shit happens, you aren't totally fucked, okay? It is designed specifically for instances like this, where no option is the good option. You know what's right. There's no way that she looked at this and didn't know that textiles were the right choice. It was her impatience that caused her to pick Paris. I'm guessing that's what she did. Let me look and see what she did. Okay, she did feed. So, patience, hang on, 4 days, 6 hours. What's going on here? Let me see what we got going on. Why? It's your, okay. So 4 days and 12 hours, she does the glass. Okay, so then she moves straight to the feed. Anyways, it's your impatience that causes you to pick Paris, right? And with students that move really, really fast, especially with a student like her, she moves really, really quick. But sometimes you have to slow down and take the downtime. Now, unfortunately, she did. She slowed down. She took the downtime. But again, you got to look at risk. Okay? Looking what did she risk by doing the feed over the textiles? Well, she basically kind of, I guess it depends on her, what was going on, in her day. If she had just woke up like super early, or maybe, because she's like super hardcore into the CoM, she could have set an alarm in the middle of the night for all I know, and this is like her half nighttime or something. So, either way, the point being is that textiles should have been done first, okay? She could have planned around the feed to be done later. God, that's such a hard one because I don't know what was going on with her. I'm not going to mark it as wrong because I could see her just wanting to get the older one done to open up a new doorway, I could totally see that. So I guess I can understand why she would go with that, but you got to be real careful on downtime when you rotate your downtimes and when you rotate them because of things like this, Let's see what happens here. Okay, yeah, this is where she went really, really, really wrong. So, if I remember correctly, she does the epic here, and that is big no-no. Yeah, so after 6 hours worth of feed downtime, she would have needed to do the textiles. That's why I was saying do the textiles first, get those done in 3 hours, see if you can get, some things moving again while the feed makes. But this was a big mistake, and I'm going to explain why this one was a big mistake. Because with the epic, this was the last one out of all 4 she should have picked. That one I would have picked last. Because with epics, they usually come back with about 3 rotations, and then they either stay away or they come back again. She's had epic projects come in a couple of times already, so they are, being reoccurring on her. Given the fact that it's at its lowest value, so it's already going to be a huge hit on her score, I would be concerned that it would come back repeatedly, and I would not want to take that risk. There is no value difference between the epic and the Paris, or you know, if you were going to go with the textiles even, which is what I would do is the textiles, then you have a value difference of 500 and something points, which she could really use right now. So there was no reason why she should have picked Epic. None at all. Nothing should have led her to that choice. I'm thinking of any excuse, any reason she could have given me. Like, okay, value possibility. Value possibility is significantly higher on, textiles is usually about 2,300. Paris can be worth 2,400, and Epic can be worth 2,400. So there is no benefit there. Then we have a value difference. There's no value difference between Paris and Epic, but there is a value difference between Epic and textiles. So yeah, that was a big no-no, especially, like I said, since it can pop up reoccurring assignments. So it gives her a launch 1 VU. Now this one, because it just came in worth 1,000 points, it means that it's not exactly being good to you right now, which means it's probably not a good idea to do it. But my guess is going to be is that she did the VU because it was quick and it was easy and it was premium. Again, big mistake. She needed to move those textiles out of the way. So she does the VU and she gets a 1,000 London. Again, my guess is she probably made another mistake and went with the London. Yep. Now she got her Epic came back around for 800 points, and she does the coins. Now, this right here is another huge mistake she made. She's let those textiles sit for way too long. The value difference isn't very much between the textiles and the coins, and she's still 5 tasks early on her streaks. So I would not have done the coins. I would have got the damn textiles done. Okay, so now she gets chemicals of a lower value than were in her list before. So not something that she would normally do if it was in the bottom of her list, but now that it's in her streaks tasks and that's her main way of getting some of her points back, now she's forced to take that downtime and do it. Well, that sucks, doesn't it? So instead of pausing, pumping the brakes for a minute and saying, all right, I need to take the downtime and stop screwing my score up, because she's just been screwing her score up for tasks, you know what I mean? Like, look at this. Impatience, that's all this was. She didn't want to take the downtime for the textiles. She thought they were too low in value, and oh my god, okay. So, anyway, back here, she gets the, what the hell did she do? Hold on. Okay, she does the coins. She gets the chems. She does Epic. Why would she do that? Okay, this is another huge mistake. So, in this instance, she's got 4 days, 4 hours left. Plenty of time, okay? That's how quick she's been moving here. Moving this quick is causing her to make mistakes. I don't know what she's trying to accomplish by doing that. But it's one thing to move really, really fast to, you know, get things done and stuff like that, but when you start making multiple sacrifices to move this quickly, it will do things like this. You'll start taking points like this where they're significantly lower, and you're not realizing the risk that you're taking, because all she's looking at, my guess would be, is the values. Okay? We're not just looking at the value. We need to look at what is going to happen if that shit comes back around. Well, look at what situation she's in. Look at what she did to herself. Go back about 10, 15 tasks when I said don't touch the chemicals because they're going to come back around at the most inopportune time. Remember when I said that? Here they are. At the most inopportune time, right in the streaks. Yeah, that's why I said don't touch them. Okay? So now you got the epic, which is at a pretty low value. I would have left it and let it be and not touched it back when it was at this value before and not touched it. Now we're here again and we're doing it again. Oh, that's going to result just lovely, isn't it? So now we've got 840 on the spatulas. Now she decides to take the downtime for the chemicals. Okay. And my guess she does the bricks. Gets her point. Now she's got this damn epic come back around again for 800 points. How many times has she done this one? Is this 3 or 4 times? Okay, if she did it 3 times, then, I mean, oh, man, that is so rough on your average, dude, to do tasks like that. Every time, when you do tasks like this, every time that you do a task worth a really low value, it's supposed to be to open up better opportunities. Not because you want to burn time, not because you're being impatient, right? It's supposed to be like, hey, that's going to result in either a really high kickback task or it's going to open up a really good opportunity for me. And in both cases, that's not happening. So now in this situation, basically she needs to take the downtime, okay, because she needs to reassess her situation. In this situation, what we would look at is we would say, okay, she's got 22 tasks left. 2 tasks still remain before she should have even started the streaks, and she's already completed one of the streaks, so she's completing them too early. If she boosts her score up too high, the game is going to level her down again, and it's going to continue to give her garbage. So what she should do is she should get them frickin' damn textiles done, and take the downtime now while she can afford it and get some decent points. But she goes with the epic. Then my guess is she does the keys, burning through her streaks way too early. Okay, so in this case she does spatulas over watches. Why? This logic makes no sense to me at all, whatsoever. So she went with spatulas over textiles. I don't know. I mean, my guess is she apparently 3 hours worth of downtime and possibly 6 hours in total was not worth it to open up a better doorway or what? I don't know. But anyways, so she goes with the spatulas, and she gets 3,000 war delivery, which, okay, she does that. Then she does the watches. So at this point, again, I would have got the damn textiles done. Delivery for 2,000, 1,600 on the epic, 2,000. 1,800, 16, okay, she does her other, let's see, 1,000, so now we're at 50 tasks done, roughly, right here we're at 50 tasks done. Okay, so, what has the game done so far? Well, at 50 tasks done with about 99,370, she has hit her 2K average so far, right? So she's not really down on her average. That's how many bonus points she had to get to bring her score up to her 2K average. Now, the problem is that the rest of the contest, which would be 25 tasks, still remain. She's kind of in a predicament here because now she's in this situation where she's used up all of her streaks and she has very little rotatable options in her list. So, Jesus, that train is obnoxious. Hold on, you guys. Okay. So, you know, she was able to bring her tasks up, her score up by the streaks bonus, but you can see where it all went wrong. She shouldn't have moved into the streaks quite that early, because the way that you got to remember when you're in a crisis like that you do have those bonus points, and she knew by the fact that she still has 4 days left. Look at the time remaining still at this point. So she's moving so fast, and she's got all 7 upgrades in her list with a low value. She knew that she'd be able to do all of her streak assignments, that there was no way she would be able to not do them. And knowing that she had all of those points banked in for certain, she could have, loosened up the tension just a little bit and been like, okay, I know I'm going to make up for these points. I need to make some better choices here rather than just grasping at straws. Because a lot of these choices aren't making sense. Usually what I can do is I can kind of follow their thought process, so to speak. I look at what they chose and I try to think of the reasons why I would have chosen that. And then I think of reasons, why I wouldn't have chosen that. And in all of these cases, it's all basically that she's grasping at straws. And so in this case here, she goes with the Tokyo for 1,000. I wouldn't have done this. Why? Because she could have done the damn textiles for 300 more. She knows she can get the delivery done. She knows she has plenty of time to do that, and she knows she can bank in on those points. But the sooner that she banks in on those points, the faster she gets her average up, the sooner the game is going to continue to level her back down again. You got to be careful when you claim those bonus rewards. If you want to have a big score boost, you want to claim them closer to the end. So now she's stuck again. So now it's not about the streaks. Now it's about time again, like speeding things up again. What reason does she have right now to not do the glass or the textiles? What reason does she have to clear the minerals before doing either of those? None, other than wanting to get shit done fast. It's all about speed at this point. And when you make choices like this, she took another 300 points less by doing the minerals than she would have if she would have done like the textiles. Right around 300 points. She needs to do the glass. She knows she has to get that done if she wants to get those extra points. So she does that, and she gets a 1K VU, right? Well, okay, this is the second time now that it's come in worth 1,000 points. Working the same doorway. We haven't moved doorways in a long time, right? Still got the text, still got the Paris sitting there. Still working the same doorway forever. What does she do? She does the VU for significantly less points, knowing that she needs to do her best to get, as high points as possible. So right here, again, should have went with either the glass or the text. I'm assuming that she's prepping one of the two and just being impatient. Now, at this point, she is at the minerals. Again, we got minerals. Came back around. Well, they're all pretty much worth the same value. I don't know what she's got prepped. I don't know what she's got going on. She needs to get the textiles out of the way because they've been sitting there for way too damn long. And then she's got to work on that glass and figure out what she's going to do to salvage the rest of the week. As soon as she rotates out the textiles, she can kind of go from there and figure out what she's going to do, depending on what comes in. But yeah, hopefully this video helps you understand where you went wrong. And, you guys, I always suggest that you guys take screenshots of your week so that you guys can go back through and see where everything went kind of, down. But a lot of people, again, you got to remember that sometimes when you're playing and you're kind of in the zone, you're not thinking as clearly as you would as if you would kind of step back from it all and assess it as if you're not in that environment where you're stressed about your score, where you're worried about, the time and the speed. Don't factor in speed that much. You want to make sure you're moving fast, of course, but there's a way to move quickly and not do that to your score. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, here's the thing. Can you do all 75 assignments in one day? Yes. Can you do all 75 assignments correctly in one day? Yes. Can you do them all correctly in one day every week? No. Absolutely not. Some weeks just don't work that way. Sometimes you get more downtime. And sometimes the game throws you a curveball. You can't just say, well, I'm going to get every single assignment done in this many hours, and I'm going to do it all while making the correct choice. No, that's not what's going to happen, because you're going to make sacrifices you wouldn't normally make to go quicker. And all of those sacrifices add up. It may have only been 300 points on that one time you decided it, but it wasn't 300 points when you look at all of the things that were blocked futuristically by your choice. So think about that, and I will do my best to give you guys a follow-up on kind of what happened with all this. I think she is still working on assignments. I'm not sure. They would have been uploaded, I believe, had she been done. So, yeah. And if anybody wants me to review their week, you guys will have to send it to me via Facebook. If you want to join us on Facebook, just type in SimCity Buildit, MissyAnneTTVYT. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.